All right, what's up, guys? This is Jose Zaragoza, and I am the owner of Code One Maintenance and the founder to Military Maintainers Transition Program. So today, I want to speak to you on a piece of document that's super important, and that is your resume. All right, I'll talk about things that on your resume, tools to help you out, hints to help you out that I've learned along the way for myself and going into workshops and things like that so I can provide this information to you guys. Okay, this is going to be free. You don't have to pay several hundred dollars to do this. There's some tools that are pretty economical. There's some resources to you that's available, and if there's a job that's interested in you, then reach out to recruiter. So but on this I guess video, we're going to talk about the resume itself. Okay, so resume is pretty interesting stuff. I've looked at hundreds of resumes myself. I see things that it doesn't tell you everything, right? It's one of those filtering systems that it does help with. Um, it helps with a filtering process where just to get into the door, right? So let's see. The little gaps here is not to my liking here. All right, anyways, there's a little gap that's annoying me here. I'm sure you can see it. Anyways, but yeah, uh, so yeah, like I said, there's gonna be some. So first, I'm gonna go off with um, some hints how to approach it, right? So yes, we want to come approach this, with some humility, some be humble about it, right? Because especially when you're trying to go for a major airline and energy company, there's not really a lot of leverage that you have. Being a military maintainer, that's quite a bit of leverage that you have. A lot of times they'll come out to you and they want to get you just a recruiter snatches you up and just get you to do the basics. That's the best. But let's say they you weren't you don't know about recruiting and stuff like that, but you want to work for Southwest Airlines. And you want to submit, you saw a job opening, you want to submit it, right? And I'm only gonna talk about the resume, not uh other actions you should be doing. This is not the show for that, okay? So you want to prepare yourself. We are taught to be very detail oriented, to be very, but all of us, most of us have been, um, how would you say, write performance reports, like, leaderships and management and stuff like that, right? So when we write performance reports, it's not, we have to condense it, right? We have to condense some of the verbiage, uh, condense some of the bullets to bring out the strongest ones. And which one are those, right? Which one are those bullets that you should be bringing up, right? Uh, Number one place that you should be looking at is um, the job post itself. What does it provide, right? So here's I try to look for a basic aviation maintenance one. This is from American Airlines. It says right here what you'll be doing. Here's some examples. Okay, what you need to be bringing out your A&P. A lot of the basic stuff that you have your minimum requirements here. You got your degree, 7 months in management, all that jazz. Look at the verbiage: line maintenance, heavy maintenance planning, managing and unionized frontline work group. So these are important because um, that's the type of terms. This is going to be the key words they're going to be looking for when they zip your resume into a machine, an ATS machine. Okay, so these are the verbiage. You just be paying attention to the different shifts, situations, plays and promotes American leadership attributes. So not only will this help with your resume, but this also helps you create your summary, right? Because this is their leadership attributes. What you'll get, okay, we're not talking about that part, but right here is where you start building, where you need the skills, because you're gonna have to build some skills. Your licenses and certifications, qualifications, minimum qualifications. So this is your template for your resume, okay? And that's okay if it's even look like this. Your intro should be your summary, it should be very similar. And you don't want to be writing just a basic one, a general one. Each one should be towards the specific exact company you want to work for and the position, unless I'll told otherwise. But whatever position you're signing up for should be that. So that's where you go look first. And there's a couple of websites where what's very great is uh, translating some of that as well, right? Here's military crosswalk search. It's just to help you uh, codify what some of the verbiage is going to be needed, right? Task, inspect. You can have all eight. And then you put in and basically you just need to put in your numbers. I improved efficiency by 30% by doing this. Listen to operating engines to detect, diagnose. If it asks for it, right? Clean, refuel, if it asks for it. That's why you should save that job post and tailor it towards that. Okay. Let's see. Easy to read. I don't know what all this stuff is, but I thought this was cool. The task is important. Technology skills, right there. Work activities, occupational requirements, documenting, recording, entering, transcribing, recording, storing, like that kind of stuff should be, you should be working on, right? Detailed work activities, inspect completed work to ensure proper functioning of whatever system, right? A hydraulic system. Work context, explosive sound. Okay, yeah, it's just all this stuff, right? Yeah, like this has a lot of great information, right? There's another one, to a career field, MOS, you know, uh, business travel, TDY, or yeah, business travel, PCS, relocation, um, responsibility, task, objective, and objectives of a good one. You know, uh, let's see, hazardous conditions, conflict. Work great under conflict and hazardous conditions, headquarters, corporate office. Subordinates. I had, you know, uh, you know, I supervised or directed 20 employees, right? Service members, employees, coworkers, colleagues, personnel. So it gives you, some keywords to use, and this is important. And again, go back to the job post to kind of like draft this up, not so much this is your resume. I would use this to draft it up. Which one is this one? Oh yeah, my next move. Here's another one. I think this one, it gives you some information about it, right? Uh, Another great one is, so now you see these tools to help you out, right? These are the tools that are going to help you kind of like form and draft your resume. That's going to be super important, especially when you're about to get out. And you want to cover all of the keywords that they're looking for because they're probably just not going to look for, they're going to put it to the machine and you get lost. So, like, again, I'm not going to talk about everything on the outside of the resume. This is for just some tools, right? I went to some workforce meetings on how to write resumes for like the local county, Texas Commission, Arizona. Talked to some recruiters, and the Workers Commission is kind of like you're marketing yourself, so you got to write pretty well into these things and take your time to read it or writing this stuff. because you got to learn to market yourself, right? You're going in, you want to show them your resume. You're like, this is your thing to that you don't want to overwhelm them, but you want to get the big highlights, right? Just like a football player going from high school to the college, it gives them all the highlights. It gives them a video of all the highlights, what you can do. Same thing. You talk about your highlights. Big things that really impacted the work center, the mission, whatever it is, right? So awards that went with that. That's the ones you want to talk about. And um, because you don't want to have every single little bullet form here on there. You want to get it, 3 to 5 bullets, and you move on to the next one. Okay, so you got to find those good ones, the big juicy ones. Okay, and the big juicy ones, not always just a big juicy one. It's aligning on what they're looking for. All right, and then what are you going to contribute? Right, what are you going to do for the company? It sounds kind of weird, but a lot of times it's like, hey, I want this, I'm the badass, blah blah blah, right? But you also got to say, what are you going to do for the company, right? I align with, I think at the bottom it said, um, care about all team members. I'm a big team player. I like to see people win. I like to see, I like to elevate others, right? Collaborate. We succeed as a team. Like I said, big team player. I'm all about making sure that the team wins, not just me, right? Development. We build future leaders, right? So, uh, if you're going for a management role like this one, it's like I like to elevate everybody. Especially if you have examples of that, like I helped uh, every single airman that I've trained to become, and gotten promoted or to this and that, or achieve a certain reward that you put in and you put a package together for. So things like that. Results, we drive to be best. We drive to be the best, right? I think drive is kind of an interesting word there for airline company. But anyways, but yeah, talk about how you're always trying to improve, like, and how you can contribute, right? Hey, I love to, I love to develop future leaders, blah, 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 in our work center, like I see the capability in everybody, whatever the case may be, right? So we believe to try to be the best, and how, the results matter to you, you know, saving money, being efficient, and building up a great team is important to me, right? Drive the results. In the future, continuing to challenge the status quo. I'm, big believer in Kaizen, always improving, always improving. So that's, you know, some ideas how you should talk to these guys of like, how do you how do you gonna be better? Okay. So that's on the part of, all right, we got the tools. All right, now I'm gonna go draft it a little more, craft this up a bit, what I'm gonna do for the team, right? And then now we're gonna go and see if we can put it all together, right? So this is some other tools, and that is ChatGPT. When I write stuff, brainstorming, get some ideas, put it all placed together. The more specific the details, hey, I'm working for this job, you can put that whole job post on there. Hey, write this as a thing. According to my bullets here, you smash it and see what I get. Because, like, you know, what's the difference between you go and spend hundreds of bucks and you go to ChatGPT? you know but you want it to make sure it has all the keywords. Don't just blindly just turn it in. That's specific to the company. Let GPT help you out with writing, because I don't know how to write for shit. So uh, I use GPT to kind of brainstorm, give me ideas, how to approach it. you know yeah, just doing the research for it. Okay. Another interesting tool that kind of like really opened my eyes, and that's why I'm bringing this video to you, is because I use an AI tool that's specifically for resumes, and it was called Teal. And Teal was it helped me. It started grading me on how I was writing this and how that it was too long, shorten it up. Your summary is too long. There's no there was no result. Your belt bullets don't have any results. So it kind of like helped me shift my mindset or how do I write my resume. And that's why I wanted to speak on this, because I was working on this and I was like, oh, that explains why I wasn't getting, I wasn't giving them what they wanted to hear. You know how like you tell us, oh, you're just a girl like, oh, you're just telling me what I want to hear, right? And they fall for it all the time, even though they know that's the game, right? So this is what that the airlines is that girl, right? You want to tell them what they want to hear, and I wasn't doing that. I thought I was macho man, and this is good enough. Nope. There's certain words, key words that you just gotta let them. You gotta tell them what they want to hear. Okay, so they gotta hear it. So yeah, um, yeah. I was looking at it was what was cool about here. If you look in the bottom left, it's like what job are you pursuing, and you look for that job, and it pulls up the job or that position. And then it helps you kind of align your resume to that job. And it's pulling, what they're looking for, the job post. Hey, do you have these keywords? All that jazz. So I thought that was really cool. And it was a great learning experience. And I was like, like I said, I always wanted to work for Lockheed. That was always a dream. And maybe I'll still work for Lockheed, even though I'm a business owner. I would love to work with them. Uh, just because think they're pretty cool. I like the planes they produce. I think that's awesome. So yeah, I just happened to just put that there, the mechanic, and it opened me up to what are these companies looking for. It was highly recommended. I just did a quick Google search, on Gemini. Gemini is also great. On here, see, helps you. Gemini is super great. I mean, I'm not sure, but it might even just write the whole damn thing for you. Teal does the same thing too. ChatGPT will too. But you want to start drafting all together. Get your juicy highlights, right? Um, to make that happen. So it unfortunately there's these companies get thousands of resumes a year or in a day that you got to prepare yourself. What's going to happen. I didn't do this. I actually looked at every resume because I don't know, maybe I couldn't afford that machine, or I didn't even know about the machine at the time when I had the business and hiring people. But yeah, I was looking at all the resumes, and I got pretty good with it. And but yeah, like if I'm looking at it from their side, and I'm bringing you on, I want to see who's going to be about this business, because we're trying to build an A team, right? We're not just taking anybody. I want to build an A team. And if you have that strong application or that resume where it shows that you are ready you want to be a part of that A team, and you guys do it. It's just now you get to get that out of your body into paper, right? So, or a PDF file. So that way it helps you be successful. Okay. It's so funny the little things I find out with tools like lights and stuff. Like when you take, I swear, when I disconnect it, the little glitchingness, just the random things you find, right? So, um, yeah, don't just throw a general, have a bunch of like 50 applications, you just tossing them out, right, to all the companies. No, build your 10 top companies in the area you want to be at. Got to know where you're at. What's your goals? I want to go to Dallas Fort Worth, or I want to go to Florida. Like, tell me those things, right? And then we start looking for employers. And then we can find 10 employers that you really want to work for, right? Maybe there's not 10, maybe the top five, right? You really want to work for that pay well and all this jazz. So, um, but you want to align your resume to each and every single one, okay? Uh, it's not like when you have a bunch of girlfriends and you're saying the same shit all to all of them, right? You can use general words, but you want to be specific. Lockheed or Boeing or SpaceX, or whatever the case may be. So whoever that is. So you want to be specific to that company because they all have different missions, visions, things like that. You know, they all serve a little tweak of different type of people. So believe it or not. Um, hopefully this was helpful. You know, uh, get some help. You know, I mean, even if maybe even work with a recruiting company. You know, see how they do it. There's some services out there, but if you want to do it, try to do one yourself. Okay, and don't do a whole freaking novel. Keep it max 2 pages. That way you don't overwhelm the thing. So it needs to be very thought into of from your whole history into a couple pages with all the highlights. So pull out the highlights and yeah, that's it, man, guys. Hopefully that was very helpful. Be safe. I know it's Saturday. Um, I've been doing a lot of resume, not because for the video. It just happens to that I'm looking at resumes and looking at talking about it, even for myself for research purposes, and just showing up to these to these meetings that I'm just curious. I'm just curious what they talk about, and a lot of it makes sense. So. That's what I do. That's what I do. So even though that AMP, I mean, I guess this one's more about preparing yourself after the AMP. That's what our mission is. It's to prepare you for the civilian side. AMP is a huge part of it, but we're just not going to stop there. You know, we're going to talk about every aspect. And my ambition is to, by the time before you even get out, to the time that you land in a job working for them already. And working for an awesome company. And that way you can maintain or improve your lifestyle, which I think most of y'all gonna be for big companies, y'all gonna be improving your lifestyle and be happy as and it can be small too. It's not just be big, but I've talked to guys, some of my students who work in small shops and they're super happy. So there are great opportunities out there and um, stay away from multiple girlfriends, not worth it. Um, don't just try to be if you have these candidates, 5 companies you're working for, focus on that one. Don't sit away until you complete that one. You submitted it, then work on the other one until you submit it, turn and go to the next one, because you want to make it have that connection between you. Okay, so um, like I said, I hope this was helpful, and um, as I learn more about it, I'll I'll talk on it and give y'all the tea on it. So that's it. I'm pulling chalks now. Have a good night. Be safe. It is Friday, and don't get too crazy. Peace.